Hello everyone, welcome back to Path for Cloud. So in our Docker basic series today we will gonna discuss the Docker Compose. Okay. So Docker Compose is nothing. Docker Compose is which will help us to deploy our application in Stack. Right? When you use Stack, so Stack is something like when our application is running in the microservices structure, right? So you are running a small piece of your application in different parts, right? In different containers, and you need to link those containers so that at the end your entire application is up and running and it can serve your purpose. Okay. So we will see how this Docker Compose will help us to make the entire stack up and running. So let's start with the installation first. So Docker Compose is a separate binary, right? It will not gonna install with your Docker. So what you need to do is you need to download this binary from this path. I'll paste this URL in our description so that you can get this and just give the what you call it executable permission. And here you can see our Docker Compose is up and running, right? And for this demo, we have one voting app which has been built by the Docker itself. And I just cloned this repo to my repository, and let me show you the architecture. Here you can see it application has a 5 different parts which is running in a dedicated container, and it can talk to each other, and then it can serve you the purpose where the one front end will give you a vote application, and the other which will be running on a different port will give you a result for the voting app, right? So what we will do is I will run all these containers first manually, and then we'll see how the application looks like. Then we will remove all the containers and we will write in a Docker Compose, and we'll see that how we can make it as a in one go up and running. Fine. So for that, let me explain the last two container which you can see Redis and DB. Those are using a default images which is available on Docker Hub, right? It is a Postgres 9.4 version and it is a Redis, right? And for the vote, worker and result, we have this code already there. You can see the vote. You can download this and you can build the image and you can push it to your Docker Hub, or you can keep it on locally, right? It is up to you. You can see that Docker file is already there, application which is running in the Python script. If you are familiar with Python, you can understand, right? You can go all these. I'll just paste this URL as well. Same way we have the other two, which is result and the worker, right? So this is the result. Here also you can see the Docker file, which is again nothing it's doing. It is just node image it is using and all this stuff it is doing. So it's up to you. Either you can use my images which I already pushed on this repository. You can download, you can pull this image from here, or if you want you can take the advantage of this code and you can build your own images. All right, so let's start. What I have done is I have already pulled the images just to save our time, right? So here you can see we have the Redis and Postgres which is running from the default Docker Hub, and these three images are coming from my own repository, right? So this way we have these three images. So first we will start with the Docker Redis, right? So I will name it as a Redis because name is important here, because in code these containers are referring to each other with the name. So make sure that when you are also following this video, you will name the same. Otherwise, it will not gonna run. Fine. So it is Docker Redis running, and let me run the Redis is up. So we now we launch the vote, and but vote needs to be linked with the Redis so that vote can talk to the Redis. And how you can link the containers each other? Let's see. So we will see Docker run -d, and it will gonna run on 5000 port, right, on the Docker host. But in container it is running on the 80, so we will be publishing on 5000 port, and I am gonna link it with the Redis. So whenever you want to link two containers, right, so you can link with this command dash link and the name of the container. So here I am trying to link the vote container to the Redis. So you can see this is the container I am trying to link, and make sure that that container is up and running before you link it, right? Now what I will do is I will just give the voting app. here you can see we have the two containers up and running, right? So now if I'll go to my public IP and I will paste it on 4000. So here you can see this is how your application looks like. This is the voting app, but how you show the result, that is running on 5001 port. So let's see how you can make the uh, result. So first we will launch the DB because worker needs to link with the Redis and DB, right? So first we will launch the DB container. To launch the DB container, we will use the Postgres DB, Postgres 9.4 image. Alright, so let's name it as a DB, and it requires some environment, right? It is the requirement of your Postgres image itself. Otherwise, it will fail. So I am giving the Postgres root password, and there is one more to authenticate to each other, right? Which is obviously not a secure way, but just to for this demo, I'll just pass the authentication for all. So I will just put the method equal to trust, and then we will gonna use Postgres 9.4. Fine. Now we'll see we have the DB container is also up and running. Now we'll launch the worker, but worker needs to link with the Redis as well as the DB. Fine. So let's see. Docker run -d dash link, and we will link it to the Redis. This is something that it is expecting inside the code, right? That's why I'm giving the link. Redis will be Redis. So this keyword is expecting to be connect with the Redis container, right? And the other one is DB to DB, and we will place the our image which is worker app. Fine. Now we have the 4 container running, and the last one is result, which will needs to be linked with the DB. Okay, so let's run docker -run, and we need to link with the DB, right? So DB colon DB, and we will publish it to the 5001. Remember, result is running on 5001 and vote is running on 5000. Fine, and it will be our image is called result -app. Okay, there was some typo, sorry. It should be this one. And here you can see all 5 containers are up and running. Let's see how the image looks like. Let me take this as on 5001, and let me adjust this. Where you can see the left hand side we have the voting app, and the right hand side we have the result app. Okay, it can say no votes yet, right? Let me vote to the dogs, and here you can see the moment you put the dogs, according to this one, right, it is giving that message to the Redis, and Redis will give it to the worker. It compile or it process your vote and store in the DB, and the moment hit you to the result will reading it from the database. You can see now if I hit the cats, now cat is 100% one vote, right? You can see. So our application is up and running. Fine. But if you see, what we have done is we have done it is manually, right? We have launched each and every container manually, and then we have linked it. What if you have n number of containers, right? Then there will be an issue, right? You need to launch it one by one, and you need to remember that container, which container needs to link to which, and how it which container needs to place first, which is comes last, and all this. So to overcome this, we have the Docker Compose, right? So let me show you how we can. Before I will remove the all container. Remember this command, docker rm-f. Forcefully we are running removing because it is up and running, and it is passing the container ID with -aq. It will show the container ID, and it is passing all the container ID to this, and it will remove all the containers in one go. Here you can see nothing is up and running. If you see this, so it is saying nothing is running on these ports. Here you can see, right? Because container is gone. So for that, we have something called Docker Compose file. Let me take you through this file. We need to write this, right? We have 3 versions. I'll talk about the versions in different videos, but here I'm using the version 2 because version 2 supports this link, right? Version 1 will not support because here we need to link the all or maybe some containers to each other. So here we will define each container as a service, right? First I am talking about the Redis. Image is Redis, right? It is simple. Then we will take the DB, that is using Postgres 9.4. We have to set some environment. Then we have the vote app, right? It is coming from this application image, and here we need to publish the port, and it should be linked to the Redis, right? Remember when we have done this, so we are linking it to the Redis, right? Here you can see. So same thing we are doing here. We are linking it to the Redis. Worker needs to be linked with the DB and Redis too. So here you can see, and the result again it is publishing on the 5000 vote one, and it is should be linked to the DB port. So this is a very simple Docker container file, right? Docker Compose file, sorry. Services, and these are the services, right? And here you can see here. So to make it up and running, there is one small single command. Wherever your Docker Compose file is sitting, right? What you can do is you can just simply run one command, Docker Compose up, and you can see everything it is doing for us. It is finding that, and here you can see it is connecting to DB, read, because it is waiting for that each and every containers to come and up, right? Once it is up and running, it will show you and it will give you so just wait. I'll wait for this to come up and running, right? So here you can see, and it is connected. If you go there, so it should be up and running. Here you can see, right? If you hit cat. If you hit dogs, it dogs, right? And it is giving you a live logs. You can see whatever you are doing. It is just processing all these logs on 5001 and everything. See, dogs. And if you hit again the cats, right? Dogs. So this way we can take the leverage of our containerized application, right? Which is running on a different microservices kind of structure in different containers. So this is a Docker Compose, right? And we have a 3 versions, right, for Docker Compose. So probably I will upload one small videos where we will talk about the Docker Compose. But today I think it is fine, and yeah, but there is one issue here, right? Because if you remember, we are using only one host, right, to run this Docker Compose. What if this host is down, right? Your entire stack will go away, right? So to overcome this, we have something called Docker Stack. Docker Stack will help you to deploy your application in a Compose, right? Using Compose on the Docker Swarm. So Docker Stack will give you a liberty where you can host your application on a multiple uh, host, right, in a Docker Swarm cluster. So next video probably I will talk about the Docker Stack, and before that I will try to upload one more video on the Docker Compose versions. Fine. So I hope you like my content. So please subscribe my channel, share it with your friends and colleagues, and I'll meet you on next video. All right. Thank you guys. Bye bye.